ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Welcome to another segment of Code Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. The recitation is Rag Asa Mahalla Panjava Ghar Barwa. Composition of the fifth Nanak, Guru Arjan, in the Rag Asa, in the 12th measure. The recitation. ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ, ਤਿਆਗ ਸਗਲ ਸਿਆਣਪਾ, ਭਜ ਪਾਰ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ। ਏਕ ਸਾਚੇ ਨਾਮ ਬਾਝਹੁ, ਸਗਲ ਦੀਸੈ ਛਾਰ। ਸੋ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਜਾਣੀਐ ਸਦ ਸੰਗ, ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦੀ ਬੁਝੀਐ। ਏਕ ਹਰ ਕੈ ਰੰਗ ਰਹਾਉ, ਸਰਣ ਸਮਰੱਥ ਏਕ, ਕਰੀ ਦੂਜਾ ਨਾਹੀ ਠਾਉ। ਸਰਣ ਸਮਰੱਥ ਏਕ ਕੇਰੀ, ਦੂਜਾ ਨਾਹੀ ਠਾਉ। ਮਹਾਭਉ ਜਲ ਲੰਘੀਐ, ਸਦਾ ਹਰ ਗੁਣ ਗਾਉ। ਜਨਮ ਮਰਨ ਨਿਵਾਰੀਐ, ਦੁਖ ਨ ਜਮਪੁਰ ਹੋਏ। ਨਾਮ ਨਿਧਾਨ ਸੋਈ ਪਾਏ, ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰੇ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਸੋਏ। ਏਕ ਟੇਕ ਆਧਾਰ ਏਕੋ, ਏਕ ਕਾ ਮਨ ਜੋਰ। ਨਾਨਕ ਜਪੀਐ ਮਿਲ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ, ਹਰ ਬਿਨ ਅਵਰ ਨ ਹੋਰ। ਏਕ ਟੇਕ ਆਧਾਰ ਏਕੋ, ਏਕ ਕਾ ਮਨ ਜੋਰ। ਨਾਨਕ ਜਪੀਐ ਮਿਲ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ, ਹਰ ਬਿਨ ਅਵਰ ਨ ਜੋਰ। ਸੋ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਜਾਣੀਐ ਸਦ ਸੰਗ, ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦੀ ਬੁਝੀਐ। ਏਕ ਹਰ ਕੈ ਰੰਗ. This is the Rahau verse, the reflection on the Shabad. So Prab Janiye. So Prab, that Prab. The Prab implying it's an attributive term that we use to denote Akal Purakh, if you will, but it derives from wisdom. So Akal Purakh is indeed the perfect wisdom that permeates the universe. So that is the Prab. It is within us, it is without, it is outside of us. We are linked. So Prab Janiye Sad Sang. Janiye, recognize, understand, realize. So Prab Janiye, recognize or realize that that supreme wisdom, that essence, which we call the Prab, is eternally present. And not only that, but it is innate to us. So Prab Janiye Sad Sang, always present with us. Gur Prasadi Bujhiye, that recognition or that discernment, if you will, comes through the wisdom of the Gur. Gur Prasadi Bujhiye. The Gurus have used the word bujhiya, which is somewhat different from samajhiya. Samajhiya involves cognitive processes to understand empirically. This is not empirical knowledge. This is intuitive awareness. Gur Prasadi Bujhiya. Bujhiya, to solve a mystery. It's to intuitively become aware of something. So Gur Prasadi Bujhiye, through Guru wisdom, awareness of the Prab as an omnipresent presence happens through Guru wisdom. And so, ek har ke rang. Rang has many connotations. It means color, it means love, it also means stage. And because we are talking about the Prabh as being omnipresent, it makes sense to translate rang here in this context as a stage. Ek har ke rang. Understand that Prabh is omnipresent and that this universe is its stage. They've used the word har here, which is synonymous with the Prabh, another attribute of the har, the creator. So this world, this universe is a stage for this presence. It is present everywhere. It is the single actor, the doer. We are merely a charade, the masks that it wears. Sarana Samvarat Ek Kari. Oh, sorry, let me go to the first one here. So the Guru says, understand this, discern the presence of the Prabh. And so what do? Tiag Sagal Sianapa. So give up mental conceptualizations first of all, because this presence is not corporeal. It is immaterial. It is formless. So therefore, it is futile to try and mentally conceptualize it. Hence, Tiag Sagal Sianapa. Instead, Paj Par Brahma Nirankar. Paj means literally to run. It also means to unite. It means to join. Par Brahm Nirankar. Par Brahm is that supreme being, that which cannot be conceptualized. Interestingly enough, that is what it means. Formless. Nirankar, without attributes, formless. So, Paj Par Brahm Nirankar. Stop the mind's thought process is not going to capture it. Your thought process is designed to function in time, in this dimension that we live in. But in order to grasp the reality that is behind it all, you have in some ways to disassociate your ordinary thought process. So give up mental conceptualizations, hitch yourself to that formless supreme being, which is beyond conceptualization, Parabrahm. And then the Guru says, Ek sache naam bajon, sagal dise shar. Shar means dust. Ek sache naam bajon. Unless you realize your intrinsic worth through the development of virtue. Ek sache naam bajo. Naam here is virtue. Sache naam bajo. Unless you express yourself through the virtue of the self, all other pursuits will remain like dust, char. That is, they will be worthless. So when you operate in the world, you have to pivot between these two. You have to use the whole mind. The mind has to find its intuitive capacities as well, in addition to its thought process, because it is a flow that includes both of these. And for that, what do you have to do? Sarana Samarat ek keri duja nahi thao. Sarana Samarat ek. If you wish to successfully swim across this fearful sea of existence, Mahapau Jalalangiya Sada Har Gunangao. If you wish to swim across this fearful sea of existence, what it simply means is if you wish to be successful, then create an affinity with that source, the Har self, which is within you. So in other words, constantly seek to develop your capacities and look nowhere else. Duja nahi thao, because that source is within you and it is samrat. It is all efficient and all capable. That is what samrat means. So in other words, what you need is within yourself. And here the Guru gives us an aside. It talks about our condition. It says, Janam marana nivariya dukh na jampur hoye, naam nidhan soi paye kripa kare prabh soye. Janam marana nivariya. Nivariya means to remove a hindrance, to free yourself. Dukh na jampur hoye. Jam is death and also time. Pur is city. So we live in the city of time. We live, in other words, in the realm of time and space. We live in that city. We are governed, ruled by time and space. Jampur. And what happens is time gives rise to the notion of birth and death, to the notion of past, present, and future. And it is this idea of birth and death, of past, present, and future, which becomes the chain that binds us. So the Guru says, Janama Marana Nivariya, free yourself from the hindrance of the past and future, of birth and death, and the sorrow that accompanies the idea of time. Janama Marana Nivariya, Dukha na Jampur hoye. Then, when you live in this Jampur, you will not feel sorrow because you will have seen beyond it. Because the past, what it does is it chains us to our conditioning, ego. So we are caught in the past and we are fearful of the future because it is uncertain and it paralyzes us. And the antidote is Naam Nidhan Soi Paye Kripa Kare Prabh Soi. Naam Nidhan, wisdom, is the antidote because it develops our intuitive capacities and skills that enable us to see and shape our future. That's the key. You can shape your future if you have that wisdom. But the treasure of self-knowledge is a gift. So we have to ask for that gift. The ego cannot create it. It cannot demand it. It has to submit in order to get that self-knowledge. So in the end, ek tek aadhar eko, ek ka mani jor, Nanak japiya mili sad sangati, har bin avar na hor. So the mind's strength, its aliveness, is rooted in one support and one foundation. Ek ka man jor, ek tek aadhar eko. It is that oneness, integrity. That is how we have to live our lives, with integrity. So Nanak says in the end, Nanak japiye mil sad sangat, har bin avar na hor. In the company of the Guru, the perfected one, the Sad, we come to this realization, Nanak japiye mil sad sangat, that there is none other than the Har self, har bin avar na hor. So we are just swimming in this ocean called Har. And what best way to swim across than to just let it flow through us, to let it take us to the other shore, not to resist it with the conditioning past of the ego or the paralyzing fear of the future. Get that clarity. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.